Hello and welcome. In today's exciting episode, I'll be showing you everything I made in December last year. Perfect. Perfect jacket. So here we have everything from December lined up on the rack. And let's get started. First of all, I made this red dress here on the left. It's got pockets. I've just put a sash in there so you can see, and it also has elastic around the waist. This is the pattern Patchwork 6677, and I followed the pattern pretty much for this one. And yeah, as soon as I finished it, I knew that the elastic around the waist was a mistake. So the vintage print of citrus print next to it, with oranges, lemons, leaves and orange blossom, it's the same dress, but it doesn't have the elastic around the waist, and it's so much nicer. I understand why some people like the elastic around the waist, but I like a really baggy dress until I have to put a sash on. Like, I like having both those options. So yeah, I think it looks adorable with the sash on and it's cinched around the waist, but I don't want it. I want it to be baggy when I want it baggy. So yeah, I keep threatening to undo the red one and take out carefully cut out the elastic, but I haven't actually done it yet. I'll do it before summer, but yeah. I also, in the pattern, you're supposed to just use bias binding around the neck, and I don't like that. So yeah, in the next few months, I will take that off, carefully unpick it, and then I will put a full lining in there because I'm just more comfortable wearing a dress that's lined. So that was my first use ever of Christmas fabric. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. Next was a jacket. The month before, November, had been Pretty in Pink month, Pretty in Pink the movie. And this I hadn't quite got around to during November, so I did it right at the start of December. And one of the later dresses is pink and it has gingerbread on it, and they go perfectly together. So I thought, it's fine for Christmas. And then next I'd been making some vintage dresses, and I didn't have a vintage petticoat. So I thought, and I had all this fluoro neon orange netting, and I thought, I know, I'll make a netting petticoat out of that, a 50s vintage petticoat out of that. So yeah, and I think this is a cute way to wear it. It's the label look. So it's a Valentino Rockstud handbag, my Chanel jacket, and my petticoat. But I'd wear like black underneath as well. But I just think this is such a cute silhouette and the colours really pop. Oh, and before I forget, this jacket here used a discontinued McCall's pattern. I won't recommend it because it has a few problems in it and you have to be able to redraft a pattern to get by it. But if you're looking for a simple vintage Chanel style pattern, then I would recommend this Patchwork 6328. I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, it only starts at a size 8, but yeah, so it'll fit pretty much everyone. And yeah, it's got nice simple lines. I recommend it. It's easy to use. So next up we have, rushing through this, it's a bamboo dress. I just call it that because the first one I made had a bamboo print on it. But it is actually Simplicity 9325. And yeah, I absolutely love this plaid in Christmas colours. It's sort of a beige background. It's got reds and greens in there, and there's also metallic gold just a little bit. And I did these box pleats on the sleeves, and it's just the most darling thing. I absolutely love these sleeves. It's a sort of heavier weight quilting fabric, and I really love the way that one turned out. So next up I did the gingerbread jacket, and it's just the same standard jacket pattern, but the sleeves were made from a blouse, a puffy sleeve blouse pattern. You Look 6698. It's the same puffy sleeve pattern that I pretty much use for everything. It is adorable, but I don't put elastic around the bottom. I just box pleat it, or do one box pleat and two knife pleats. Anyway, so yeah, I only made the jacket in December. I didn't finish beading it until January. So yeah, the beading turned out pretty cool too. But I also love the jacket. It's supposed to look like a gingerbread house. And I also have a gingerbread beige coloured dress to go with it, but I didn't finish that until January. So you'll see it in the next Everything I Made video. Anyway, so I'm so happy with the way that that turned out. Okay, so then the next thing that I made was, Vlogmas was a very busy month. Oh, this vintage Vogue one, it is one of my absolute favourites. The original pattern is Vintage Vogue 9106, but if you look at the pattern, you can see that the top is sort of like a shirt dress, whereas I changed it, redrafted it a little so that it's just a V-neck and much plainer. But I absolutely love it. I'm going to put the vintage 1950s petticoat under it now, and you'll see what it looks like. It's so darling. I absolutely love it. So it's got the gathered lines under the bust, and it's got 3 tiers of the skirt, and they've got those gathered sections with a clear section in the front middle. The pieces of this pattern are an absolute nightmare to cut out because they use up, they're sort of spread or all over so much fabric, but the end product, so worth it. I absolutely love that dress. Next we have another vintage, but this one a vintage Vogue, but this is a combo of 2 different vintage Vogue patterns. For the bodice I used vintage Vogue 9187, and for the skirt I used, there's a dress, and actually both these dresses use the same skirt, and it's vintage Vogue V8789, and yeah, it just turned out so completely adorable. And I've tied it here with a bow at the back. But yeah, in my opinion, if you've got the big petticoat underneath, then you do need a belt to anchor the dress. But I also think it looks really cute with the belt around the middle. It also has some beading on the bodice, just in that bib front bit. It is so adorable, this dress. I absolutely love it. And when I was doing my 12 outfits of Vlogmas, it was one of the videos I did in December. I sort of made up 12 different outfits, and this is the jacket of mine that I put with it. And they are just a darling combination. I think it's just the most beautiful look. I don't think it's necessarily very Christmassy, but I do think they look, this combination, like with the sash belt and this pink and green and oatmeal jacket, just looked adorable together. Like that back fabric looks more Christmassy to me than this holly one. I just think this is a beautiful outfit for any time of the year. If you want to see any of the videos that I'm talking about, most of them are I make something start to finish, or the Vlogmas 12 outfits of Christmas one. There'll be a link below to the Vlogmas playlist, and all the videos are in there. It's pretty obvious which video is about what. And the next one I did was another Butterick 6677, and this time I made it longer. And this is the one that I call the ruby dress, and it's just so adorable. I love it. I was still doing the pockets. My current iterations of the ruby dress no longer have pockets, because this skirt has 3 layers in it, because I liked that other vintage Vogue one so much, V9106. And yeah, so I've got 3 tiers here. It's not the vintage Vogue one, it's just 3 separate tiers of fabric, like I just teared strips of fabric. And the top tier was actually from the Butterick 6677 pattern, and then the second tier was 2 strips of fabric, and the bottom tier is 4 strips of fabric. So all up, I think it's 4 yards of fabric or something, which is a pretty decent dress for 4 yards of fabric. and the sleeves were just sleeves that I found in a shirt dress that I liked. I also added lining to this one, and yeah, absolutely need to line all the bodices, as I have done from then on. So the next one is another bamboo dress made from this pink fabric with gingerbread all over it, and this is so adorable. So once again, it's a Simplicity 9325, and I got a few complaints from the last one I did, the Christmas plaid, and a couple of people saying they would like more detail. So I just did another one. I was going to do another one anyway, so I made this, and it's just got a little bit more detail if you need very step-by-step how to make this. That's a good one to watch. It's a lovely dress. I highly recommend it. You can just leave the ties untied or tie them in a bow at the back, or I sort of wrap them round right again to the front and do a little knot there. And then the next one I did, it's another ruby dress. So Butterick 6677 is the base for the dress. But the sleeves are these tricky ones that I made. Vogue 1704. And I had been wanting to make this. I actually wanted to make it as a jacket, but I've been wanting to try these sleeves for the longest time. They've got a structural French seams, which was interesting. And yeah, I think it turned out really well. I have a really small frame, like small shoulders, small head. So I'm not sure it's the best, most flattering thing for me, but I do love the dress. I think it's absolutely adorable. So yeah, I was really happy with that, how that turned out. And for some reason, I had a bunch of people ask me what it looked like with a coat on. And I recently just made this coat that goes over puffy sleeves really well without crushing them. So there you go. I'm not sure what use it is to see this with a coat on because you can't really see the dress. But there you go. That is what you will look like before you get to your party. And yeah. Anyway, so the next two dresses are two more bamboo dresses. So Simplicity S9325. And I just really love these Christmas fabrics, and I wanted to make them up in an empire line or this pattern. I think they're so cute. One of them is a really pretty small to medium size holly print with a little bit of gold metallic in there. And the other one is a 1950s looking vintage candy cane one, which is just adorable. And these two dresses, I just love them to bits. They're so gorgeous. And as I said, you can either not tie the ties, tie them at the back in a bow or just a knot, or you can bring the two sashes around the front and just do a little knot at the front. And yeah, I just think they're beautiful every single way. It's such a pretty dress, especially with, you're supposed to put flutter sleeves on there, but I find that a standard sleeve looks so much nicer, just in my opinion. And then the next one is another ruby dress, and it's kind of supposed to be a Christmas tree, sort of. I mean, it's all green, so whatever, and it's in layers, and it gets much bulkier with each layer. I think the top tier had 2 strips, salvage to salvage. The next layer had 4 strips, and the bottom layer had 8 strips. There is an extravagant amount of fabric in this. I think it's 5.5 or 6 yards. And yeah, so it's just so beautiful to wear, though. It is such a lovely dress, and it's a Christmas tree green. It's so beautiful. And then I made a bunch of other ruby dresses. You can see them here. Some of them are finished, some of them are not, and they're just different Christmas fabrics. Some of them are vintage style reprints, and some of them are just, you know, standard modern ones. And I also had some Scandinavian ones. I just bought some Christmas fabrics and made them all up. This is a beautiful vintage one. It's navy base with teal, red, pink, some metallic gold. It's just adorable, and it's got those standard shirt dress sleeves. And then the last thing that I made was the patchwork dress, and this took, oh my gosh, this patchwork dress took me forever to make. I was trying to just use up scraps, but then I wasn't sure that I'd have enough, so that's why it's got all different colours in there. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. It took forever. It was sort of based on the ruby dress, the Butterick 6677, but obviously I did the puffy sleeves and yeah, so it's the ruby dress. And the skirt I sort of made freeform, so I did it in loops of fabric. So yeah, it was, I think next time, I didn't really know what I was doing. So next time the next one I make will look better. But I've divided all my scraps up. So the next one, I think there'll be a red one, there'll be a green one, and there'll be a blue one. So yeah, I really love it though. It is so pretty and so much fun to wear because the skirt is very twirlable. It's spins beautifully because it's got the extra weight of all the seams and everything. So yeah, it's just the most gorgeous dress. I mean, it looks a bit dodgy, I guess. It looks a bit, I don't know, pre-loved and handmade, very handmade, but I like it. Anyway, so yeah, and these ones aren't finished yet, so I won't show them to you. If you go back into Vlogmas playlist, you'll see I sort of get each one out and say, this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do, and I still haven't done those things, so yeah. Anyway, that is everything that I made this back in December. It's only a few months ago, but it feels like forever. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.